Greetings, lineage. What's going on? This is your brother Chief Flying Eagle Ra Elohim. What the deal is? So I find it really strange, right? That on TikTok, I'm being attacked by a few people because I'm sharing information like this, because I'm going hard on the whole idea of calling original indigenous people, American Indians, black. Why is this? Like, I just don't get it. People are even going to my website and, making statements such as, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sharing misinformation. Like I said before, the United States wanted their freedom, so to speak, from Great Britain, and they did a Declaration of Independence. So, what am I telling my people that's wrong or unlawful in suggesting that you need to do your declaration? I mean, that's kind of crazy, but let us dive a little deeper into this whole black thing, because people just don't. I'm not going to say everybody. Who the cap fit, please wear it, okay? Because this is so tiring. It's really tiring, right? In law, here we go, okay? In law, I'm not talking about your personal opinions. I'm not talking about your feelings. Documentation beats conversation. Black means what? Dead in law. Okay? What does that mean? In law, the term civilly dead or civilitur mortuus means a person who has lost their civil rights and capacities and is considered legally dead for the purposes of their rights. This doesn't mean they are actually dead with their physical body, but they are treated as such in the eyes of the law. So within the law, you don't exist. Within the law, you are dead. So they could do your funeral. They could put you in a casket legally. So how is this? I'm misleading my people and I'm being attacked by a few people on TikTok. Like, this is absolutely insane. So that's one. Let us go to the next joint. Let's go to the next joint. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. The next one is let me see. Hold on for a second. I know I just had it here for a second. I just had it, man. Hold on. I just had it. No, that's not what I'm looking at. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. In legis, where it's at? Like, okay, here we go. Check this out, right? When you take on the status of being black, you're also stating that you are this entity identified as ens legis, which means a creature of law, an artificial being as contracted with a natural person, applied to corporations considered as deriving their existence entirely from law. The United States is a corporation. Therefore, anyone that the United States gave birth to, as in a birth certificate or the 14th Amendment, they are also corporations. So therefore, you are ens legis. Okay? All right, cool. Once again, I'm not going with emotions. I'm not going with your feelings. I'm giving you law. Now it says contrast that with a natural person. Let's get into natural person, because I'm going to show you how they tricked everybody. They tricked you even if you call yourself a natural person per se. Let me show you exactly how it's taking you right back into being that creature of law. Pay attention. Natural person, a human being naturally born versus a legal generated jurisdictional person. Black people, Native Americans, are legally generated jurisdictional persons. A human being is a natural person. All right. Now look at the trick. You might say, okay, so I'm not in legis. I'm not a fictitious person. Maybe I should call myself a natural person. Let me show you why you shouldn't. All right. So you have a human being, which is a natural person, naturally born, versus a legal generated jurisdictional person. Remember the 14th Amendment, to be born or naturalized, but have what? Jurisdiction, but is subject and what? Within the jurisdiction of what? The corporation. A jurisdiction, a juridical person. Juridical person. Let me stop sharing the sharing again. Boom. Let us go to the next joint. So we're going to look at what does it mean when who is a generated juridical person. Like I said before, this is not about your feelings. This is not about your emotions. What's in the legal system that they call law? Who is a legally generated juridical person? A juridical person, also known as a juristic person or artificial person, is a legal entity that is not a natural person, a human being, but is recognized by law as having certain rights and responsibilities. Essentially, it's an organization or entity that law treats as a person because you are an entity for legal purposes, and we know what that is. Okay, allowing it to own property. Okay, people think they own property, enter into contracts, and be sued, all right, in its own name. All right, key characteristics of juridical person: not a natural person. It's not a human being, but a legal construct. Recognizing law, the legal system recognizes the entity as having legal personality. That's what you have, personalities. Okay, distinct from members. The rights and responsibilities are separate from those of its individual members, shareholders, blah, 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 whatever the case is, right? Now, what are we going to do here now? I'm going to stop sharing. And now they told you that a natural person is a human being. Well, let's see how they're going to pull you right back into the trap. Let us go look at monster in Black's Law Dictionary. What does it say? Black's Law Dictionary, okay? I'm not making it up, second edition. Monster, a prodigious birth, a human birth or offspring not having the shape of mankind, which cannot be heir to any land, albeit it be brought forth in marriage. So even if you are brought forth in marriage, right, you are a prodigious birth, a human birth, right? So a monster is a human. You dig? But what does prodigious really means? Because as a monster, aka a human, you cannot own or be an heir to any land. So you see how you got tricked into thinking being a natural person is a good thing, but it takes you right back into being a monster. Well, let's go see what prodigious really means. Let us rock. Here we are. Prodigious, what does it mean? As you could see, it says remarkably or impressively great in extent, size, or degree. So you are a big prodigious birth, but we are not going to look at that. We're going to look at the what? Archaic. Archaic, meaning it says unnatural or abnormal. You feel me? Such as a monstrous birth. So when you were given a birth certificate, when you acknowledged and accepted being a 14th Amendment citizen, that's what you became. But of course, I'm being attacked because I'm telling people the truth. And when I tell people nobody's breaking it down like this, a few individuals want to get mad at me. Well, you're not the only one. Well, guess what? I am. Because I've never heard or seen anybody doing it that way. I said doing it the way that I do it. I never said anybody else ain't talking about nothing. But I like to break things down so babies could get it. You did. So what am I doing wrong? It seems like I'm being the enemy for showing my people this. Like, I just don't get it, man. But anyway, finally, so you see it deals with persons, talk about humans, talk about legis, who are unnatural persons, and also talk about human beings. Well, hold up. Let's go to the preamble of the Constitution and see if it mentions persons. Let's see if it mentions persons. The preamble of the Constitution, it says, the preamble to the United States Constitution is a short introductory statement that outlines the fundamental purposes and guiding principles of the document. It declares that the Constitution is established by whom? We, the who? The people, not persons, not natural persons, not legal persons, not in legis persons. Okay? By the people. And therefore, there is no such thing as black people. There are black persons. That's the difference. And it seems like like I said, I'm becoming public enemy number one by some people for sharing that with my people. So when I tell you there's no such thing as a black Indian, a black American, or black indigenous, that doesn't exist, because you're pulling yourself right back into being a legal fiction. So what's happening with the Muskogee and the Cherokee, it's all by design. They're giving you the recognition as, yes, you've been here, but we're going to take it back without you not knowing and pull you right back into being a monster in law that we created. But like I said, I'll continue to be the bad guy. I'll continue to be the one that's being accused of misleading my people, and I don't know what I'm talking about. It's all right, though. I don't know if I should just give up and let it go or just continue doing what I'm doing. But that's something I got to meditate on, because it is part of my purpose to restore my people. So I doubt I would give up. But trust me, man, it's hard. It's not easy. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's challenging. It's challenging because nothing is hard for me, but it's a challenge. But you know what? I'm going to overcome that challenge and keep doing what I was sent here to do. And none of you could ever stop that. So I'm going to keep pounding on the beast. I'm going to keep pounding on Babylon to make sure that this black identity is eradicated, at least when it comes to my people who are the original people of the land. That's all I'm just saying, man. Peace.